This is page 86. So for number 2, we have to find the common denominator. I have an a minus 2, and then I have a 2. So the common denominator is going to be 2 times a minus 2. Now, what's unique about this is that there's two terms, but they're multiplied together. And so if I have an a minus 2, I don't need the a minus 2, I just need the 2. So the a minus 2 will eliminate. So it's going to be, since I have an a minus 2 here, this goes away, so I get 2a. Since I have a 2 here, this goes away, I get a negative a minus 2. Make that look like an a. And then equals, this has an a minus 2, so I'm left with 2 times 4. So when I distribute, I'm going to be left with 2a minus a plus 2 equals 8. And then I'm left with a plus 2 equals 8. A equals 6. In this case, we now know a possible solution for our variable a. However, we cannot guarantee that solution until we check our work. So we check our work where a equals 6. We're looking for a true where the left equals the right. So it's 6. 6 minus 2 minus 1 over 2 equals 4. 6 minus 2. So then I get 6 over 4 minus 1/2 equals 4 over 4, which is equal to 1. This reduces to 3 over 2 minus 1/2, and it's 1 equals 1. So 6 is a solution. Okay, so for this one, we have the common denominator as x. So common denominator is x. This doesn't have an x, so it becomes x squared. This one has an x, so it goes away. Plus 32 equals 12. That doesn't have an x in the denominator, so it becomes 12x. So I'm left with x squared minus 12x plus 32 equals 0. Now the way that you factor is up to you now. You can now factor with the quadratic formula or with the AC method, whatever you like. But this one we do have to factor. So this is a positive 32, and that's an x. So when we expand it, it's going to be x squared minus 8x minus 4x plus 32 equals 0. And then we make our groups. So your factors are going to be x minus 8 and then x minus 4 equals 0. So we get x equals 8, comma 4. So we need to check both our solutions. Remember, we're looking for true or false. So you got to check both. So the first one we're going to check is where x equals 8. I have 8 plus 32 over 8 equals 12. 8 plus 4 equals 12. So that's true. So this is a solution. Now we have to also check where true or false for x equals 4. So 4 plus 32 divided by 4 equals 12. 4 plus 8 equals 12. And this is also true, right? Because 12 equals 12. It's whatever the left equals the right. That's how you know it's a complete, it is an exact solution. So 4 and 8. Now for number 4, let's see what we have. 16 minus y minus 16y plus 1. So your common denominator is going to be y times y plus 1. Remember, if it has one of these factors, then it just eliminates the denominator. We're trying to get rid of the denominator. So now I have 16 times y plus 1 minus 16 times y plus or equals 2 times y plus 1. So we get 16y plus 16 minus 16y equals 2y plus 2. 16 equals 2y plus 2. And then I have 14 equals 2y. Divide both sides by 2. Y equals 7. So now we need to check our solution to see if 7 works. So we're looking for the true. If it works, it's not a solution. If it's not a solution, it's an empty set. I'm going to move the camera over. Okay, so we take where y equals 7 and put it back into the original formula. 16 over 7 minus 16, 7 plus 1 equals 2 over 7. 16 over 7 minus, this is 2 equals 2 over 7. And then we can put this in our calculator. So it's going to be 16 over 7 minus 16, and then it was, let me make sure, 7 plus 1, and get 2 over 7. Okay, so 2 over 7 equals 2 over 7. Okay, so this is number 5. Number 5, the common denominator is going to be this whole quadratic, or this trinomial, because these are binomials that multiply together. So the common denominator is going to be p plus 7 times p minus 5 equals p squared plus 2p minus 25. Now, again, remember that if the term has the whole trinomial or one part of the trinomial, that's what it needs. It needs what it doesn't have. And we're trying to eliminate the denominator. So in the first term, on the left-hand side of the equal sign, that's important, this whole denominator is represented. So that means it cancels out and we get 4 equals. And then next we have p plus 7. So I have a p plus 7, so that means in the numerator I need a p plus 5. So it's 8 times p minus 5, minus 5. And then minus, I have a p minus 5, so that means a p plus 7 needs to be in the numerator. 4 times p plus 7. So then altogether they get 8p minus 40 minus 4p minus 28. Bring down my 4. 4 equals 4p minus 68. And then I have 4 equals, oh, we're adding 68 to both sides, so that's going to be 72. 72 equals 4p. Divide both sides by 4. P equals 72 divided by 4. Let's see. 72. I don't know if you can see that. Divided by 4 equals 18. So we think this is our solution, but we have to substitute it in. So when we do this, we're going to get 4 over 18 squared plus 2 times 18 minus 35 equals 8 over 18 plus 7 minus 4 over 18 minus 5. So we're doing true, false. We want true, and this is, we're supposing p equals 18. So this is 4 over 324 plus 36 minus 35 equals 8 over 25 minus 4 over 13. So this is 4 over 325. What's this side? So we're going to determine the bottom. 8 divided by 25 minus 4 divided by 13. 4 over 325. Okay. So when the left equals the right, that means that it's true and that 18 is our solution. Now the number one thing here to remember is that whenever you have a denominator, your denominators cannot equal 0. So denominator cannot equal 0 because that's an undefined term. Okay, let me zoom out so you can see that more. All right, see you in class. All right, number 7, suppose there are 40 deer introduced to protected wilderness area. The population of the herd P can be approximated by this formula, where X is the time in years since the introduction of the deer. Determine the time required for the deer population to reach 175. So that means P equals population. Okay, so P equals population. X equals the year, or the years, because it's time in years. And then P also equals 175. And then P equals 40 plus 20x over 1 plus 0.05x. Okay, so this is just going to be proportion. So it's 175 goes here. 175 equals 40 plus 20x over 1 plus 0.05x. The way I want you to think of this is this denominator needs to be put into parentheses. So on the last assignment, you had everything in parentheses already. So in when they were denominators and you had a binomial, in this case, you have to put it into parentheses and then you're going to cross multiply. So here's what I mean by cross multiplication. This has an implied 1 in the denominator, and cross multiplication occurs when you have two sides of an equation and you can create a proportion. So we're taking the 175 and you're multiplying it by this, and then you're taking the 1 and you're multiplying it by 40 plus 20x. So it's kind of going to go like this and then like this. It's a diagonal, not straight across. So 175 times the denominator and then 1 times the numerator. So we have 175 times 1 plus 0.05x equals 40 plus 20x. And our goal here is to solve for x. So I'm going to get 175 plus, because you got to distribute, let's see, 8.75 equals 40 plus 20x. And you just bring it down because there's nothing to work with here. And then we start to eliminate. Minus 20x minus 20x minus 175 minus 175. So I'm left with 11.25x equals negative 135. That's 25 and that's 11. Okay. So then we divide both sides by a negative 1125. In the calculator, we're going to get negative 135 divided by negative 11.25 equals 12. So that means that x equals 12 years since the deers were introduced. And then there's number 8. Starting from the rest, or from resting, a truck's velocity is in feet per second is given by v equals 180t over 2t plus 10, where t is the time in seconds after the truck begins forward motion. Determine the time required for the truck to reach a speed of 65 feet per second. Okay, so v equals velocity, t equals time in seconds. So v equals 65, and v also equals 180t over 2t plus 10. This is just another proportion. So 65 equals 100t, or 180t, sorry, over 2t plus 10. So this is 65 over 1. You're going to cross multiply 65 into 2x plus 10, and then 1 times 180t. So I'm going to get 65 times 2t plus 10 equals 180t, and you're solving for t, right? Because we don't know how much t is. T is the seconds. We don't know how much time it took. So 130t plus 650 equals 180t. We subtract 130 from both sides, so I get 650 equals 50t. Divide both sides by 50. T equals 13. So that's the time that it took for the truck to reach 65. There you go. If you notice, initially we started out with u to the second. Now we're dealing with u to the fourth. So that just means we need to factor more than we're used to. Okay, so it's going to be factors here, because everyone knows their multiplication and everyone knows how to factor. Using the AC method, a equals 1, b equals negative 3, and c equals negative 4. So I have negative 4, negative 3, so it's going to be negative 4 times positive 1, or adding positive 1. So it's u minus 4 u plus 1 equals 0. So u minus 4 equals 0, u plus 1 equals 0, u equals 4 comma negative, should be 0, minus 1. In this case, we have u to the 4th. So you have to think about, if I were to take the square root of that, I would just get, x to the 4th, I would just get x squared times x squared. If you notice, our a, b, and c are the same. So instead of saying u, you're going to use x squared. So it's going to be x squared minus 4, and then x squared plus 1 equals 0. And then you're solving for each value of x. So I have x squared minus 4 equals 0. So I'm going to say x squared minus 4 equals 0. And then solve for x. So x squared equals 4, square root of both sides. X equals positive and negative 2. And then we do the same thing for here. X squared plus 1 equals 0. X squared equals negative 1. Take the square root of both sides. And you're left with x equals positive and negative I. So our solutions, let's expand them, is going to be 2, negative 2, I, and negative I. Or it could be positive and negative 2, comma, positive and negative I. For the next one, number 3, so each binomial is going to be x squared, because it's x to the 4th. And then our terms in here, this is 75 and that's 22, so it's going to be positive 25 minus 3. And then we just solve for x. So x squared plus 25 equals 0. X squared minus 3 equals 0. On the left, I get x squared equals negative 25. Square root of both sides. So remember, this is the square root. Left and the right has to have both sides, and then it has to have two solutions. X equals positive and negative 5i. For this one, x squared equals 3, square root of both sides. X equals positive and negative square root of 3. No decimals, I only want exact answers. And square root of 3 is an exact answer. So now I get positive and negative 5i, comma, positive and negative square root of 3. For this next one, you have 4 terms. So this is going to be factor by grouping. Factor by grouping, you're taking out the GCF. So this is something you already know how to do. So in this case, it's going to be x squared is going to be 2x plus 5. And then minus 4. So I get 2x plus 5 equals 0. So then we regroup. 2x plus 5. So this is what I mean, because this is like a review at the end. Those two are going to go together, and then these two make a new group. 2x plus 5 is one factor group, and then the second one is x squared minus 9, and all that's equal to 0. And then we set each of those equal to 0, because we're still solving for x. Is that 9? Oh, that's a 4. Sorry. I have to reread it. X squared minus 4 equals 0. So then I get x equals negative 5 halves. x squared equals 4. X equals positive and negative 2. So my solution set is negative 5 over 2, comma, positive and negative 2. So another thing that I want to just kind of bring to your attention. See how the leading term had x to the third? So that means I have 3 possible solutions for the x. I had negative 5 halves, and then I had plus 2 minus 2. And then see how on this one there's x to the fourth breaks down to x times x times x times x. That's what I mean. And I had 4 solutions. I had positive 5i, negative 5i, positive square root of 3, negative square root of 3. So it's expanded would be 4 different numbers the way we did up here. So that's x to the fourth. So that means x equals 2, x equals negative 2, x equals I, x equals negative I. But we show you in the condensed version for the solutions. And then number 5, I think we have time for number 5. Number 5 is going to go like this. This is another 4 terms. So this is going to be factored by grouping. In the first group, I'm taking out the u squared, and I'm left with 2u plus 3. In the second group, I'm taking out negative 50, so I'm left with 2u plus 3 equals 0. Again, they look the same, so they go together. So that means I'm doing something right, and then whatever's left over makes a new factor group. So I'm left with 2u plus 3. And then u squared minus 50 equals 0. 2u plus 3 equals 0. U equals negative 3 over 2. U squared minus 50 equals 0. And then u squared equals 50. And then the square root. Now, put your calculator to this one. You want no decimals and exact answer. So it's going to be the square root of 50, 5 square root of 2. So that means u equals positive and negative 5 square root of 2. And then we put it all together. Negative 3 halves, comma, positive and negative 5 square root of 2. Now, for number 6, would you have a little bit more time? You're taking out the GCF. Each term has an x. This x is important because you're going to assign it a value at the end. So this is something new from what I recall. And this is going to be 6x squared minus 11x minus 7 equals 0. I can do the AC method. We're just assuming that you know now. So it's a times c of what's inside the parentheses. So that's going to be negative 42. And then b is negative 11. So 42, what is that? 42 divided by 2, because I'm trying to find my factors. 21 and 2. That may not work. So let's see. I think it's 8. 42 divided by 8. No. 42 divided by 6. If I want to get 11, that's 13. 42 divided by 3. 14. So our factors are going to be 14 and 3. Negative 14, positive 3. We just bring the x all the way down at the end. So I'm expanding the center was 0, so I get 6x squared minus 14x plus 3x minus 7. And then take out the GCF in each term. I'm left with 2x, so I get 3x minus 7 plus 1, and then 3x minus 7. All of that is still equal to 0. I'm going to get 3x minus 7, and then 2x plus 1 equals 0. Don't forget to include the x. So now we have to start to show our factor groups. This x came from the GCF. It is automatically equal to 0. So remember we said x to the third, that means there are going to be 3 zeros or 3x equals. This is where it comes from. So the first one is x equals 0. The next one is going to be 3x minus 7 equals 0. So that means x equals 7/3. And then 2x plus 1 equals 0. X equals 1 over 2, negative 1 over 2. So all together, our solution, we have to put these 3 terms in a set. It's going to be our solution. 0, 7/3, negative 1 over 2. The order does not matter. Just understand if they're arranged in a different order, that's still the same solution.